Welcome to our deep dive into the world of healing crystals.
Mm-hmm.
Today we're going to be exploring this guide,
Okay.
Healing Crystals,
Mm-hmm.
the A to Z guide to 430 gemstones.
Wow, that's a lot.
It is a lot. And this is not just like, your basic like, oh,
Yeah.
here's some pretty crystals.
Exactly.
And this goes into like all the properties and effects on the spirit, the soul, the mind, and body.
It's in depth.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah.
So we'll be kind of walking through how this guide is laid out and then looking at some really interesting examples of crystals and what they're supposed to be used for.
I like it.
So one thing I really liked about how this book is laid out is that it has a really easy way to distinguish
Okay.
between the official mineral names and the common or trade names.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So the official mineral names are in black text, and then the common or trade names are in blue text.
Okay, that's really helpful because, you go to a crystal shop and they're calling it one thing, and then you read about it and it's a totally different name.
Right, exactly. It can get really confusing.
Yeah.
So this is a really nice way of like keeping things organized.
I like that a lot.
And then also they have these abbreviations for like SPSM and B.
What are those?
So those indicate like which aspect of a person
Oh.
the crystal is supposed to influence. So
Gotcha.
SP is spirit, S is soul, M is mind, and B is body.
Wow, so you can really hone in on what you're looking for.
Exactly. Yeah. So like if you're looking for something for like mental clarity, you're going to be looking for something that's got the M,
Right.
Or if you're looking for emotional well-being, maybe the S.
That's great.
And they also have a rarity scale.
Oh.
So it goes from common to very rare.
Okay.
And so that also kind of helps, I think, like manage expectations if you're out like looking for crystals.
Right, or if you find one that's super rare.
Yes, exactly.
Honestly.
Yeah. So let's get into
Yes, let's talk crystals.
some specific crystals.
Okay.
So
What do we got?
starting with something a little bit familiar,
Okay.
abalone,
Oh, yeah.
also known as Paua shell or mother of pearl.
Mm-hmm.
So those are like, the iridescent shells that you find at the beach.
I love those. They're so pretty.
They are really pretty. And so it's more than just a pretty shell. It's also associated with like promoting feelings of security and cheerfulness.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And some people even think it can help with skin irritations.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's kind of cool.
I like it.
So moving on to something a little bit more unique,
Okay.
actinolite quartz.
Actinolite quartz. Okay.
So this one is suggested to help with like new beginnings and overcoming weaknesses.
Interesting.
And it even gets really specific to say it might be good for the liver and kidneys.
Oh, wow. So it's
Yeah.
targeted.
It's like very specific.
I see.
Yeah, so you start to see like how the
Yeah.
crystals can be so specific in what they...
It's not just an overall good vibes,
Right, exactly, yeah.
Very cool.
And then even within like one type of crystal, you can have so much variety.
Oh, really?
So like agate, for example.
Uh-huh.
You have eye agate, fire agate.
Right.
And so it's like a whole family of crystals, but they all have different appearances
Mm-hmm.
and apparently different effects.
So how do you know which agate is for what?
So that's where the guide comes in handy, and it tells you
That's
like
so cool.
all about each specific type.
Awesome.
And then there's clear quartz,
Oh, yes. Clear quartz, the basic one.
the OG.
Yes.
But it's not just one thing. So
Oh.
you've got laser quartz harmony, quartz Herkimer diamond.
The whole world.
It's a whole universe of quartz.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's just all these different formations that can influence different things.
Mm-hmm.
Like the guide says that it can help with like focusing energy and overcoming emotional boundaries.
So depending on what kind of clear quartz you have, it can be different.
Exactly.
That's cool.
So I want to talk about some of the more like out there crystals.
Okay, the ones that are a little different.
Yeah, like the ones that have like cosmic origins or like really unusual properties.
Oh, I like those.
So moldavite, which was formed from a meteorite impact,
Uh-huh.
is said to help us let go of material possessions and recognize our spiritual origins.
Okay, that's pretty intense.
Right?
That's a big one.
It's like, wow, okay.
Wow.
And then there's Moki marbles,
Moki marbles. I've heard of those.
which are believed to be like
Yeah.
little wish fulfillment stones.
Oh.
Boost your energy.
So they're powerful.
Yeah, like little powerhouses.
I like it.
And then
What else?
strawberry quartz,
Okay.
which supposedly helps us understand
Yeah.
how our actions contribute to our misfortunes.
Oh, interesting. Like
Yeah.
a little accountability.
A little like reality check,
Okay, I like it.
Yeah, so
Wow, so many.
it's like every crystal has a story.
Yeah, it seems like it.
And
Yeah.
the really cool thing is that this guide
Yeah.
has a bib section.
What's that?
So that's essentially a bibliography
Okay.
of further resources for each crystal.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, so it's like...
So if you find one you really like,
Exactly.
you can go and do more research.
Yes, and it's numbered, so it's
Okay.
really easy to reference.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's not just this guide, it's like a
Right.
jumping off point to like
a whole
learn
book of
more.
crystals.
Exactly. And it even mentions another book at the
Oh.
end called Gem Water,
Gem water.
which explores using crystals to create healing waters.
Wow. Okay, we'll have to check that one out.
We'll have to put that on the list.
All right.
I'm really intrigued by that one.
Me too.
So we've barely scratched the surface of this guide.
I know, there's so much to learn.
And I can't wait to like dive deeper into all these crystals
Yeah.
and learn more about like how to actually use them and all that good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And how all this information can apply to our lives.
Exactly.
This has been great.
Yeah, it's been really fascinating so far.
I'm excited for more.
Me too. So before we move on,
Okay.
I want you to think about all the crystals that we've talked about.
Mm-hmm.
And which ones like really sparked your curiosity or like made you want to learn more.
Okay, I can do that.
Keep those in mind, and we'll come back to that in the next part of this deep dive.
Sounds good. It's amazing to think about all these crystals that have been used for like centuries,
Mhm.
like lapis lazuli.
Oh, yeah.
Like that one just really gets me.
Lapis lazuli, I mean, that deep blue is just mesmerizing.
It
It's been
is.
prized for centuries.
Yeah.
I remember reading that it was even ground into pigment for like ancient Egyptian artwork
Really?
and like Renaissance paintings.
Wow.
And in this guide,
Yeah.
it talks about how lapis lazuli is supposed to promote like honesty and dignity,
Mm-hmm.
and it can even aid communication.
Oh, wow.
It's like if those pigments could talk, right?
Right. All the history they've seen.
Exactly, from ancient tombs to grand palaces.
That's amazing.
Lapis lazuli has been there.
Wow.
But let's kind of shift gears a little bit. So we talked about lapis lazuli, which is like very, royal and grand.
Mm-hmm.
But what about some of the crystals that are more like grounded,
Okay.
connected to the earth,
Yeah.
like flint,
Oh, flint. Okay.
and known as firestone?
So like striking it to make fire.
Exactly, yeah.
Mhm.
And so, this guide suggests that flint can help with like communication and composure.
Interesting.
And it even says it like fortifies the body's functions.
Oh, wow.
It's like it's giving you that primal spark,
Like that energy of survival.
Exactly.
I like it.
And another crystal that I really like that's like very grounding
Okay.
is tiger's eye.
Tiger's eye. Oh, yeah.
That golden brown sugar. It's just like, ooh.
It's
And it's supposed to provide clarity and help with stress and even sharpen the senses.
So like if you need to focus,
Exactly. Yeah.
that's cool.
And what I thought was really interesting that the guide pointed out
Yeah.
is that it often occurs alongside falcon's eye
Oh, really?
and sometimes even within the same stone.
Wow.
So you get like this multicolored tiger's eye.
Oh, I've seen that before.
Yeah. It's really pretty.
Yeah, it's stunning.
And I was curious, does falcon's eye have similar properties?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah. Yeah.
It does.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so they both are thought to help with composure under pressure and
Mhm.
like making thoughtful decisions.
So it's like that balance of being like grounded and aware,
Right.
but also like decisive.
Mm-hmm. I like it.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So, moving from grounding to
Back.
matters of the heart,
Oh, love.
let's talk about rose quartz.
Oh, yes, of course.
So it's often associated with love and compassion.
All right, exactly.
But this guide kind of goes beyond that.
Oh, interesting.
It says that it can enhance empathy
Mm-hmm.
and clarify personal needs
Oh, wow.
and even harmonize the heartbeat.
So it's not just about like romantic love.
Right.
It's like love for yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like that reminder that self-love is the foundation for all love.
That's great.
I've heard people talk about like placing rose quartz under their pillow
Uh-huh.
to attract love.
Right.
Do you think there's any truth to that?
This guide doesn't specifically say that,
Yeah.
but I think like what we were just saying about the
Yeah.
self-love and the compassion,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like maybe if you foster those within yourself, then you're more open to receiving it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
You can't pour from an empty cup, right?
exactly.
Speaking of Annas of the Heart,
Okay.
we have to talk about ruby.
Oh, ruby. Yes.
Fiery red.
Ah,
It's associated with like intense emotions.
passion.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
Mhm.
And this guide actually links it with like bravery and vitality.
Wow.
And it even says that it has like a stimulating effect on the circulatory system and the sexual
Oh.
organs.
Wow. Okay, so it's a powerful one.
Yeah. Ruby's like
I'm
a
in
force to
for
be
it.
reckoned with.
Definitely.
So let's move on to something a little bit more calming.
Okay.
Amethyst.
Amethyst. Oh, yes.
It's definitely amethyst. It's just so tranquil.
Yeah.
And it's been used for like meditation and relaxation
Yeah.
for centuries.
Yeah.
And it's also supposed to improve sleep quality
Oh, really?
and enhance intuition.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it's like the stone of peace and spirituality.
I can see why.
Yeah.
It's very peaceful.
And speaking of soothing crystals,
Okay.
smoky quartz.
Smoky quartz. Oh, yeah.
That one's got like a mysterious allure to it.
It's like smoky and dark.
Yeah.
It's cool.
And it's supposed to help with like releasing tension and promoting rational thinking and even relieving pain.
Oh, wow.
It's like it's shielding you from negativity.
Like a protector.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So we're kind of seeing a pattern here. Like
Yeah, what's
a
that?
lot of these crystals are offering like support for dealing with life's challenges.
Like helping you get through.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this guy does a really good job of like connecting
Yeah.
those supportive properties to the crystal itself.
Right.
You know?
Makes sense.
So we've talked about clear quartz, we've talked about amethyst.
Yeah.
Now we're talking about smoky quartz.
Right.
Are there any other quartz varieties that we should mention?
Oh, there is one.
Okay.
They have one called Morion.
Morion?
Yeah, it's like a dark, smoky quartz.
Oh,
It's
okay.
almost black.
Wow.
And they say that it's particularly helpful for like intense stress
Mm-hmm.
and like really difficult situations.
So when you're in the thick of it,
Exactly, yeah. It helps you get through.
wow, so much variety, even
I
within
know,
like
it's crazy.
one family of crystals?
Right, right.
Okay, I want to go back to moldavite for a second.
Multivite, okay.
That cosmic crystal.
The meteorite.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's supposed to help us let go of material attachments
Mm-hmm.
and connect with our spiritual origins.
So it's like a big picture.
Yeah, like a transformation.
Yeah,
It's pretty amazing to think about holding something that came from outer space.
I know. It's wild.
And we can't forget about the Moki marbles.
Oh, the cute
Little brown balls.
Yeah.
So those are supposed to boost energy,
Mhm.
promote restful sleep,
Oh, that's good.
and even aid in wish fulfillment.
I like those.
They're like little bundles of joy.
Yeah.
I want some.
Me too.
And one more that I thought was interesting,
Okay.
strawberry quartz,
Strawberry quartz, yeah.
that delicate Hank.
Mhm. It's so pretty.
It's really pretty. And this guide links it to like understanding the connection between our actions and our misfortunes.
So like cause and effect.
Exactly.
Ah.
It's like a reminder that we have the power to shape our own destiny,
Mm-hmm.
but we also need to take responsibility for our choices.
That's a good lesson.
Yeah.
I like that.
Okay, I got to ask about a couple more.
Okay, hit me.
Petersite.
Peter sight.
That swirling blend of colors is just,
Oh yeah, it's gorgeous.
it's stunning.
It's like all swirly. Yeah.
So it's associated with courage and transformation
Mhm.
and enhancing intuitions.
So it's like a very powerful like,
Yeah.
go-getter.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's celestite.
Oh, celestite. Okay.
It looks like a piece of the sky
Right.
in crystal form.
It's that pale blue.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so pretty.
And it's believed to promote tranquility and spiritual connection.
Mm-hmm.
And it can even aid in communication with angels.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And then, last but not least, kyanite, which is supposed to like align the chakras. It's communication.
like good for communication.
Yeah, so it's all about like balance and alignment,
Mm-hmm.
both within yourself
Wow.
and in your interactions with others.
Right. So like your communication is clear.
Exactly. That's
I
great.
feel like we could keep going.
I know there's so many, but I also want to make sure we have time to talk about the bib section.
Yeah, we should talk about that.
And like how to actually use all these resources.
Yeah, because it can be overwhelming.
It can be.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
And then don't forget about gem water.
Oh, yes. Gem water.
We got to get to that.
We're going to dive into that in the next part.
Yeah.
But before we move on,
Yeah.
I want you to think about
Yeah.
all the crystals we've talked about
Mm-hmm.
and which ones have really resonated with you.
Okay.
Like what calls to, what do
Right.
you feel drawn to explore
Yeah.
further,
Yeah.
hold those thoughts close, and we'll continue our crystal journey
So good.
in the final part of this deep dive. All right, so we're back,
Back again.
and I'm still thinking about all those crystals.
Me too. So many good ones.
I know.
It's hard to choose a favorite.
Right.
Yeah.
Before we get lost in the sparkle, I want to circle back to that bib section you mentioned.
Oh, yeah, the bib section.
It's like a secret decoder ring for crystal lovers.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
So tell me more about that.
So basically, it's like a bibliography
Okay.
for each crystal.
Yeah.
So if you're like really interested in amethyst, let's
Mhm.
say, you can go to the bib section and it'll give you a list of other books and resources
cool.
where you can learn more.
So it's like a guide to learning more about the crystals.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like a jumping off point.
Okay, so we've got this guide, we've got the bib section,
Mm-hmm.
but there's like 430 gemstones in here. Where
Yeah.
do you even begin?
It can be a little overwhelming,
A little bit, yeah.
but I think the best thing to do is just like go with what you're drawn to.
Okay.
Like if you see a crystal and you're like, oh, that's really pretty, or I
Mm.
like the way that looks, or
yeah,
oh, this one's supposed to help with this chakra that I need help with.
right.
Start there.
That makes sense.
Don't try to learn everything at once.
So it's not like I have to conquer the crystal kingdom.
No, that's
It's
not.
more
It's
like,
a journey.
yeah, finding the ones that speak to me.
Exactly.
So-
Okay.
Okay, I get that part.
Yeah.
But then, like, how do you actually use them?
Oh, yeah, good question.
Like you just have it around, or?
So some people believe that just having them in your space can
Mhm.
like influence the energy.
Okay.
Other people like to incorporate them into their meditation practice,
Yeah.
or they wear them as jewelry. Some people use them in energy healing.
Oh, wow.
So it really just depends.
So it's kind of like a choose your own adventure.
Yeah, exactly. Find what works for you.
Now, I got to ask about that Jim Water book.
Oh, yes, gym water.
That sounds so cool.
It's really cool.
Like crystal infused water.
Mm.
How does that even work?
So basically, you take the crystals
Okay.
and you put them in water,
Hmm.
and the book gives you instructions on how to do it safely.
Okay.
And it even has recipes for like over 130 different crystal waters.
Does it like taste different?
You know, the taste might be subtle,
Okay.
if you even notice it.
Mm-hmm.
It's more about like the energetic properties
Yeah.
that are transferred from the crystal to the water.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
Well, I think Gem Water is going on my reading list,
Yeah, me
too, as we wrap up this deep dive.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really struck by how
Yeah.
all these crystals and like their stories and their properties,
Yeah,
it's like they connect us to something bigger
I agree.
than ourselves.
Yeah, just a sense of wonder and awe.
Exactly. It makes you appreciate like the natural world.
For sure.
So I think it's time to say farewell to
Okay.
the Crystal Kingdom.
Sad to see it go.
I know.